In the summer of 1973, Muhammad Ali invited Bruce Lee to his training gym in Los Angeles for a private session. Only 5 people witnessed what happened behind those closed doors: Ali, Bruce, Angelo Dundee, and 2 training partners who were sworn to secrecy. For decades, what transpired in that session remained one of boxing's best-kept secrets. But when Angelo Dundee finally revealed the details before his death, the story explained something nobody understood: where Ali learned the movement that helped him beat George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. It was July 1973, and Muhammad Ali was in the middle of his comeback journey. After being stripped of his title in 1967 for refusing the Vietnam draft, and spending 3 years exiled from boxing, Ali was working his way back to a title shot. He was 31 years old, training hard, and studying everyone and everything that could give him an edge. Bruce Lee, meanwhile, was at the absolute peak of his fame. Enter the Dragon was about to be released, and Bruce was revolutionizing how the world viewed martial arts. He was 32 years old, in perfect physical condition, and his philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist, was changing how fighters thought about combat. The 2 men had known of each other for years. Ali had watched Bruce's films and was fascinated by his speed. Bruce had studied Ali's fights obsessively, incorporating Ali's footwork into his martial arts teaching. They'd met briefly at a few Hollywood events, but they'd never trained together. Then, in early July 1973, Ali made a phone call. He reached Bruce through a mutual friend and said simply, "I want to learn from you. Come to my gym." Bruce was surprised. Muhammad Ali, the greatest, was asking him for help. "What do you want to learn?" Bruce asked. "Whatever you'll teach me," Ali replied. "I've watched you move. You do things I don't understand. I want to understand them." Bruce agreed immediately, not because Ali was famous. Bruce didn't care about that, but because Ali was asking as a student, not as a celebrity. That respect meant everything to Bruce. They arranged to meet at the 5th Street Gym in Los Angeles, where Ali was training. The date was set for July 15th, 1973, just 5 days before Bruce Lee would die suddenly of a cerebral edema, though nobody knew that was coming. When Bruce arrived at the gym that Sunday morning, Ali was already there with Angelo Dundee and 2 sparring partners. Ali had cleared the gym of everyone else. No press, no cameras, no spectators, just serious students of combat. "I asked Angelo to close the gym," Ali explained to Bruce. "What we're going to do today, I don't want the world to see until I'm ready to use it." Bruce understood. In martial arts, you didn't broadcast your techniques before perfecting them. Ali was treating this like a secret training session, and that showed respect for what Bruce had to offer. They started with Ali showing Bruce around the boxing ring, explaining the psychology of the space. "In a ring you're trapped," Ali said. "But if you understand the geometry, the trap becomes a weapon. You can use the corners to cut off your opponent. You can use the ropes to make them think they've got you, then spring off like a trap." Bruce listened intently, taking mental notes. He understood the principle, NEAT. Use your environment as a tool, not a limitation. But hearing it from Ali, who'd mastered ring craft at the highest level, added depth to the concept. Then Ali said something that changed the tone of the entire session. "Bruce, I didn't invite you here just to show you my world. I want to learn your world. Show me how you move." Bruce stepped into the ring. Without warming up, without fanfare, he demonstrated a basic martial arts movement sequence. His hands moved in a blur, 5 strikes in less than 2 seconds, each one perfectly controlled, each one capable of targeting a different vital point. Ali watched, with his mouth slightly open. He'd seen Bruce's movies, but seeing it in person, just a few feet away, was different. This wasn't cinema trickery. This was real speed combined with impossible control. "Do that again," Ali said. "Slower. I want to see what you're actually doing." Bruce repeated the sequence at half speed. Ali's eyes tracked every movement, the way Bruce's weight shifted, the way his shoulders stayed relaxed, the way each strike came from a different angle, but all originated from the same centered stance. Angelo Dundee, watching from outside the ring, later said this was the moment he saw something he'd never seen before. Muhammad Ali genuinely confused by how someone was moving. Ali had fought the best boxers in the world and could read their movements like a book. But Bruce's movements followed different rules. "It's about economy," Bruce explained. "In boxing, you throw a jab, you retract. You throw a cross, you retract. Each movement is its own thing. In Jeet Kune Do, every movement leads to the next movement without stopping. It's like water flowing. It never pauses, never wastes energy going backwards." Ali thought about this. "Show me what that looks like with boxing." Bruce asked Ali to throw a simple combination: jab, cross, hook. Ali demonstrated, his movements crisp and powerful. Bruce nodded. "Good. Now throw the same combination, but don't retract the jab. Let it flow directly into the cross." Ali tried it. His body, trained for 20 years to fight one way, resisted the change. The combination felt awkward, unnatural. "Don't think of them as separate punches," Bruce coached. "Think of them as one continuous motion that happens to hit 3 times. Ali tried again. This time something clicked. The combination felt faster, more fluid. There was no pause, no telegraph, no moment where an opponent could read what was coming next. "That's it," Bruce said, excited. "You just saved a quarter of a second in a fight. That's the difference between getting hit and not getting hit." For the next hour, Bruce taught Ali principles of economy of motion, showing him how to eliminate wasted movement, how to generate power from relaxation rather than tension, how to make every motion serve 2 purposes. Angelo Dundee watched it all, occasionally shaking his head. "Muhammad," he said at one point, "you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You don't need to change how you move." Ali looked at his longtime trainer with unusual seriousness. "Angie, I'm about to fight guys who are younger and hungrier than me. I need every advantage I can get. If Bruce can teach me to move better, I'm listening." Then Ali switched the dynamic. "Bruce, let me teach you something now. Come here." Ali had Bruce stand in the center of the ring. In martial arts, you train to fight one person, maybe 2 or 3, right? Bruce nodded. "Usually, yes." "In boxing," Ali said, "you're not just fighting the man in front of you. You're fighting the crowd, the judges, the cameras, yourself, everything. The physical fight is only half of it. The other half is the mental game. And if you can win the mental game before the physical fight even starts, you've already won." Ali demonstrated by having one of his sparring partners get in the ring. Before they even touched gloves, Ali started talking. "You looking tired today? Your legs heavy? I see you moving slow. You breathing hard already. We haven't even started yet." The sparring partner laughed nervously. Ali had gotten in his head with just words. "That's the game," Ali explained to Bruce. "Make your opponent doubt himself before you ever throw a punch. Make him tired just thinking about what you're going to do to him. The fight happens in the mind first." Bruce was fascinated. In martial arts, there was psychological warfare too, but nothing like what Ali was describing, this deliberate, systematic breaking down of an opponent's confidence before and during a fight. In movies we can edit, Bruce said. In real fights, there are no second takes. The mental game is everything. Exactly, Ali said. And here's the secret. The mental game works both ways. When I talk trash, when I predict what round I'll win in, I'm not just getting in my opponent's head. I'm programming my own mind. I'm telling myself I'm going to win. And my body believes it. The two men talked for another hour, trading insights about psychology, fear, confidence, and the mind-body connection. It was a meeting of two different combat philosophies finding common ground. Then Ali asked Bruce something that changed the trajectory of the entire session. Bruce, can you teach me to move backwards as fast as I move forward? Bruce understood immediately what Ali was asking. In boxing, fighters typically moved forward to attack and backward to retreat. Moving backward was defensive. But Ali was asking about something else, moving backward at attack speed. Why do you need that? Bruce asked. Ali's answer was strategic. Because I'm going to fight George Foreman soon. He's bigger than me, stronger than me, and he punches like a truck. I can't stand and trade with him, but if I can move backwards as fast as he can move forward, I can make him chase me, tire him out, then attack when he's exhausted. Bruce's eyes lit up. This was brilliant strategy, and it aligned perfectly with Jeet Kune Do philosophy. Use your opponent's strength against him. For the next hour, Bruce taught Ali techniques for explosive backward movement, for maintaining balance while retreating, for creating angles while moving away from an opponent. They worked on using the ring ropes not as a trap, but as a launching pad, is absorbing forward pressure and redirecting it. Angelo Dundee watched this part with particular interest. He later said he didn't fully understand what Ali and Bruce were developing, but he could see it was something new, something different from traditional boxing. As the session wound down after nearly 3 hours, both men were sweating, energized, and talking like old friends. They'd come as respectful acquaintances and left as brothers who'd shared something precious knowledge. Mohammed, Bruce said as they prepared to leave. What you taught me today about the mental game, I'm going to use that, not just in fighting, but in everything. And what you taught me about moving, Ali replied, I'm going to use that to shock the world. They shook hands, then embraced. Neither man knew this would be their last meeting. 5 days later, on July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee died suddenly at age 32. When Ali heard the news, he was devastated. He called Angelo and said, "The world lost a genius, and I lost a teacher." At Bruce's funeral, Ali sat quietly in the back, unusual for a man who was normally the center of attention. When someone asked why he was there, Ali simply said, "Bruce taught me something that's going to change my life." 14 months later, in October 1974, Muhammad Ali faced George Foreman in Zaire for the heavyweight championship in what would become known as the Rumble in the Jungle. What happened in that fight shocked everyone. Ali, instead of dancing and moving as expected, leaned back on the ropes and let Foreman punch himself out, a strategy that became known as the rope-a-dope. But what people didn't see was the subtle elements Ali had learned from Bruce Lee. The way Ali moved backward along the ropes, absorbing and redirecting Foreman's power. The economy of motion in Ali's counterpunches, each one serving multiple purposes. The psychological warfare that had Foreman doubting himself by the 8th round. And most importantly, the way Ali used the ropes as a launching pad, just as he and Bruce had practiced. Angelo Dundee saw it. In the corner between rounds, he whispered to Ali, "You're using what Bruce taught you." Ali smiled. "Every bit of it." when Ali knocked out Foreman in the 8th round, reclaiming the heavyweight championship in one of boxing's greatest upsets. Sports writers struggled to explain how he'd done it. They called it rope-a-dope. They called it genius. They called it Ali magic. But the 5 people who'd been in that Los Angeles gym on July 15, 1973, knew the truth. Part of what Ali had done came from Bruce Lee: the economy of motion, the use of environment, the mental strategy. For decades, those 5 people kept their promise. They never spoke publicly about what happened in that private session. The 2 sparring partners took the secret to their graves. Bruce Lee died 5 days after the training session. Ali, as Parkinson's disease progressed, lost the ability to tell the story himself. But in 2011, just months before his death, Angelo Dundee finally revealed what he'd witnessed that day. In an interview with a boxing historian, Angelo was asked about the most amazing training session he'd ever seen. July 15, 1973, Angelo said, without hesitation, Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee in an empty gym in Los Angeles. I watched 2 geniuses teach each other for 3 hours. I saw the moment Ali learned movements that would help him beat George Foreman, and I saw Bruce Lee learn psychological tactics that would have changed martial arts if he'd lived long enough to teach them. The interviewer was stunned. Why didn't you ever tell this story before? Angelo smiled. Because Muhammad asked me not to. He said, Angie, what Bruce and I did that day is sacred. We'll tell the world when the time is right. Then Bruce died, and Muhammad got sick, and the time never came. But now they're both gone, and people should know the truth. Greatness recognizes greatness, and when 2 great men are humble enough to learn from each other, they both become greater. The story of that private training session reminds us that true mastery isn't about proving you're better than others. It's about constantly learning, even at the highest levels. Muhammad Ali, the most confident man in sports, was humble enough to ask Bruce Lee for help. Bruce Lee, a martial arts revolutionary, was honored to both teach and learn from a boxing champion. They came from different worlds. One from boxing rings, one from martial arts studios. One was black and loud, the other was Chinese and philosophical. But in that private gym session, they found common ground: the endless pursuit of perfection, the respect for knowledge, and the understanding that greatness is never finished learning. If this story of mutual respect, humble learning, and the meeting of 2 legends moved you, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this video with someone who needs to understand that being great means never stopping learning. Let us know in the comments, what would you want to learn if you could train with any legend? Ring that notification bell for more stories about the moments that make legends truly legendary.